Girl, you the den, and she love me when I'm in it, and she never be pretending. Nothing is friend. She gon' tell you what she bought it, cause she know you can't afford it. No, you can get it.
Thank you for joining the eSpot with Camille. I am your host, Camille Cower, and I am so excited for you to meet my guest today. She is the lady behind the agency that everyone is talking about, that if you're in the design world at least, they are talking about, is Miss Beth Bender, who is the founder and co-founder of the Dove Agency. So I have to ask, how did you get into the design world? And more specifically, being the publicity agency, the marketing strategic agency, like everyone that I know that's in like where people want to be in their design careers, the Dove Agency is somewhere within that realm. So tell me, how did you all get started? How did you ladies get started?
Absolutely. Well, I actually had the benefit of my mom was an interior designer. My dad was a custom home builder. So I pretty much, from the time I was born, spent my weekends on a construction site or around the design industry, around people in the design industry. My mom and dad both practiced really all over the United States. And so I had the benefit of seeing how design kind of translated from area to area in the country. And, it's funny, I really did not want to have anything to do with the design world. I think, like most kids, it's like, I'm doing anything but what my parents are doing. And so went off to college, thought I'm going to do my own thing. And I got a degree in human and organizational development. And really had a love for helping people run their organizations better and more efficiently and more streamlined, and got to the opportunity to do that for a little while out of college until family demands came into play, and I ended up going back and helping out my family a little bit in the design business. And of course, by that point, I was more mature and I was more accepting of the fact that actually my parents were involved in a really amazing industry, and I got sucked back into it. And I think that that's really when my passion for this industry blossomed. And so I worked with them on my own firm for about 20 years. And then after that, I really felt like, my good friend, who is now my business partner, her name is Kendall Lister, she and I both were working on my business together. And I was having so much fun working with her on how to run the business better, more streamlined, smoother, how to bring in outsourced services, when was the right time to bring somebody in full time. There were so many things that went on in the design industry, both on the financial side and the marketing side, that you needed specialists to help you with. And I felt like that's a very hard thing for designers to find, is somebody who would specialize in their bookkeeping or in their marketing or their digital marketing, or there's just so many little hats that a designer has to wear. And so Ken and I were just having a blast for years, putting it together for my business. And I finally said, I think I'm having a lot more fun doing this than I am the design work. And I think I need to go back to what my original passion was, which really was the H&OD, the Human and Organizational Development. And I went to Kenda and I said, I've got this crazy harebrained idea to close down my design firm and start a firm that just supports my friends in the industry. And she said, okay, let's do this. Well, that's actually a lie. She actually said, no, I'm working with one designer, and that's you, and that's enough for anybody. And I said, oh, come on. And so she finally was like, okay, actually, I really, she said, she thought about it. She said, she's definitely, the one of those in our partnership that gives things a lot of thought. And so she put a lot of thought to it and came back to me. And after about 6 months of investigating the idea, we decided to go ahead and do it. And we planned and trained people for about a year, and then officially launched in January of 2018. So that was our official launch. And we've been going ever since and having a great time doing it. There's the long and the short of it.
Yeah. So when you first started the Dove Agency, or when you guys, or both of you ladies worked together, you started the Dove Agency, do you think that when you were starting it, that this was this was your goal of how it would turn out? I mean, or did you just kind of like, as things were happening, we're like, okay, we need to add this to our team. We need to add this. Like, how did you know when to start adding more to your team? Or even, like, I think a lot of times with this industry, because of the creative side of it, there's so many things you don't know until you don't know, and like, it's hard to have that ego check to realize, okay, I need to outsource this, or I need to delegate it out. So for yourself, like, that's basically what you ladies are doing, is helping delegate all the stuff that creatives don't want to do. So when I keep hearing about people surrounding themselves with smarter people that know how to do the things they don't know how to do. So like, when did you realize, okay, I need to add more of this or that, or because it's such a niche group too?
It is. I think you just said it best when you said about hiring people smarter than you. I think very quickly I realized that there were things that designers were asking of Kenda and I and our small team that, quite honestly, we weren't prepared to do. I mean, on the financial side, a perfect example is sales tax. Sales tax is just a web that is so deep, so hard to navigate, and you can get stuck, and then it can get sticky. And so when we realized we were in a position of having designers that were truly coast to coast, and designers are doing projects coast to coast, and we had a couple of them that were international. And so how do we make sure that if we're going to be responsible for their financials, then the sales tax is a big piece of that, and how that plays out in their business. And so we went and hired somebody that is all they do. They're a sales tax expert, and she's a lot smarter than any of us on sales tax. And so being able to, on the marketing side, I knew very quickly that I had some basics, but I had no idea what to do when it comes to digital marketing or true publicity. And I think that there are people that have built careers around it. And so I went and looked for people that had built a career in this, and specifically in the design industry, and then, brought them under our umbrella of the Dev Agency. And it's been fun to see people who have worked solo for years supporting the design industry be able to come and be a part of a team and have that company culture and feel like they're a part of something bigger, but they're still servicing the clients that they love. They're still doing what they love, and they're a lot smarter than me.
Yeah, like, I mean, it takes a special person to recognize that, but I also think that's the ideal situation. You want to be surrounded by people who know what they're doing, and at the same time in their specialized skill set. Because you can be a jack of all trades, but it's still nice to have specialists in those different areas. And so tell a little bit about what all the Dev Agency offers, because I guess to get an idea of all the different team members that you have and all the different things that you guys offer for interior designs, it's better for people that may not know what all the Dev Agency offers.
Absolutely. We have, our business is really set into two teams. We have our finance team and our marketing team, a marketing PR team. And so we do everything from your bookkeeping to sales tax filings, like I said. We do hiring. We help with recruiting. We'll do training on, there's some great software out there for the interior design industry. We will do training on that software. We are able to do the procurement. So we'll do all of the ordering, expediting, and tracking for our designers. We have some designers that say, I don't need you guys to do my ordering because I have somebody in-house that can do that. I need you guys to pick it up after the order is done. I need you guys to do the tracking and the expediting for me. We have some designers that need everything. We really, when we start working with the designer, we go through what does their internal structure look like, and then how can we fill the holes that need to be filled. It's not about coming in and saying, here's our program, get with it or get lost. It's not like that at all. It's more, hey, we're going to come in and we're going to see, what are you doing well? Great, let's not mess with that. Let's keep that smoothly. But where are the areas that you're struggling? And let's kind of come in and let our specialists help fill those spots for you. And then on the marketing side, we have everything from your digital marketing. We've got social media management. We're doing a lot of social media management actually. I know you've had the opportunity of meeting Meredith Hyde. We do a lot on the PR side. Including, award submissions and show homes and podcasts, and helping them get on panels, in addition to just helping them get the editorial exposure that they want. So, and then on the marketing side as well, we just recently brought in somebody that all that they do is they are an expert at the graphic design and the website development. And so we are building a lot of websites now. So I feel like that's an area that was really sticky for designers. The pricing, first of all, for websites is all over the place. And I think we had a lot of designers say it just got very confusing to try to figure out how to navigate that when you need to incorporate graphic design plus photography plus the copywriting, and all the elements that go into web design. To be able to bring that in house was a really special thing. I think for us, that was a big moment for us.
No, I can only imagine. And you're right. The way I came across your agency was from the publicity side. And it just I just noticed the name just kept being repeated by other people as well. So I interviewed Michael Bauer from the Dallas market, and he even said, because I was asking about how do they go about finding people for their panels, and they're like, well, it's not just because they're local, but it helps if you're with this agency. So I have to ask if you can speak to how you even go about finding clients, or well, we'll start with that, how you go about finding clients, but then also just curious, what are some of the things that people are asking for? So people who may be interested in getting to taking their jobs to the next level, what they might need to work on to get in the Dove agency.
Absolutely. So the good thing is that I really believe that, if you're a designer who wants to treat your firm as a business and not necessarily like a side job, and there's a lot of designers that do this as just a side job, there's nothing wrong with that. But I would say, our agency is for the person that is the working designer, that this is their business. They want to run this like a business. That's kind of the first thing. And I think that if they're in that camp, we have a place for them in our firm. We have designers that have come to us, and they have incredible education. They've done internships, they've worked for another designer for a while, and now they're ready to start off on their own. They have very little money to get going, but they know they want to set off on the right foot, and they know they want the foundation to be right. And so they'll come to us, and we create a plan and a program for them to help them get launched and get started. That's very different than some of our clients that have come to us, and they've got 3 or 4 other designers working for them, and we're helping them in a totally different way. So everything we do in our firm is on an hourly basis. So that has, I think, served our designers well, because they know that we can come up with a budget that works for them. And come up with a process that works for them. So like on the marketing side, when somebody comes to us, we're going to first look and make sure, is their digital home looking good? Is their photography good? Those type of things. We're not going to go straight in and say, great, let's start, pitching you to all these shelter publications. We're going to go and first say, are all the key pieces in place to where you're pitch perfect? And when we know you're there, then we're going to move you over to the next stage of what needs to be done for your marketing. So we do take it step by step, and there's not really a size or a budget that we would or wouldn't work with. It's more the person, and is the person going to be enjoyable to work with? Or are they gonna click with us? Or are we gonna click with them? It's a personal thing. I mean, we're deep in our clients' lives. It's a very personal thing who represents you. It's a very personal thing to trust your finances with somebody. So, I think that's the very first thing is that initial conversation that I have with and I have the first conversation with any prospective client is with me. So most people will come through our website or through Instagram, and then I have that first, we'll schedule the first call, and it's in that first call that I think you just it's like, I don't know, it's like speed dating, I guess.
You either swipe right or swipe left. Exactly. So I've heard.
Exactly. Swipe right.
I've been married so long, I don't know.
Exactly.
I miss those times, but yeah.
And I would say, it's when we've had some clients that have started working with us, and it hasn't been a great fit. I feel like we're a great fit for a lot of people, but there have been some people that have come to work for us, and it just has not worked. And for the first couple of years of our business, I just beat myself up about it. I was like, oh my gosh, well, what went wrong? How did that not go well? And all this kind of stuff. And I finally kind of realized outsourcing something that's that personal to you isn't for everybody. There are some people that is just that for them and their personality and the way they run their business need to keep that in-house. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like now we can identify that a little faster with some key questions, and then know whether or not this is going to be, we're going on a second date or not.
Right. Which is important, very important, because like you mentioned, you guys are inside of their budgets and different things, but you're also helping curate their lifestyle possibly, or changing their life. And you want to make sure that you guys are communicating in a way that you're expectations are being met on both sides of the table. So I understand that 100%. Now, you mentioned the word stage, so I have to ask, because you do get to interview everyone. Can you tell immediately, like, this person has that star factor, like this is the person I know I need to work with, because there's just that element where you're like, okay, can you tell that immediately, or is it something like, oh, it took a while for me to see it, or
Yeah.
does it run the gamut with your different guests or clients?
Yeah, no, I think there are a couple clients that have come that we just knew immediately. Like, this person's a rock star. They have not had the support they needed. They are overwhelmed, overworked, and they can't shine. Like, they cannot be the best that they are because they're so overwhelmed. And we just need to get in there and, it's almost like rescue me from myself, help me help you kind of thing, and just get in there and help them get to a place where then they can do their best work and go and really, really shine. And so there are a couple we just knew immediately, like the minute we get things cleaned up, it's going to be off to the races. And that has been probably for me the most rewarding, is to see those stories and just to hear from those clients. We have one particular client that we started with our very first year. And just, looking at what's happened in the last 4 years and just seeing the explosive growth and knowing that we got to be a part of that is, we have NDAs with all of our clients. You will never know who our clients are unless they say, we don't put them on our website. We don't talk about them. You're never going to see this website was made by on the bottom.
Right.
We keep it very confidential, but I think that's allowed our clients to be able to tell us things that, really, like you said, kind of get into the heart of who they are, who their business is. The trust is able to really develop because of that. And so to be able to help them really, like you just said, be the star and shine, it's been really fun. I would say there are others that we didn't see it at all. And like I said, it wasn't about, I'm going to take this client or not take this client because this one's going to be a star and this one's not. But I'm thinking of one client in particular, and I'll tell you, like, you know what? I don't think she's ever going to grace the front cover of Veranda or some publication or something like that. Yeah. However, her work is so solid, and her clients adore her, absolutely adore her, and she makes an incredible living. And that is what she wanted. That was her goal. So she didn't come to us saying, get me on the front cover of every publication and get me in all of these show homes and podcasts. She just came and said, I want my business to be rock solid, and I want my clients I want to have solid clients that I can rely on. And so that was a totally different goal. But it was a fun one. It's been fun to work with her. It's been equally as fun to work with her. I would actually say it's been equally as fun.
Now, so of course, for your clients, there's probably a lot of glitz and glam for them, but has there been any opportunities where you've got to enjoy any of the perks of some of those things as being a publicist? Because, some of these show houses are amazing that they get to show off or be a part of. Have you had any opportunities like that you can speak of? Or okay,
it's been really fun. I think Kips Bay is obviously just such a huge opportunity for any client to be in Kips Bay. And we've had the opportunity to have a lot of clients at this point that have been honored to get to do it. And so being able to celebrate with them and be able to go to and know when we're at these, Kips Bay, that, oh, wow, like, we were behind the scenes helping and supporting so that this could be created, and just seeing these amazing creations that are done. That to me has been, if you want to say, kind of the glitz and the glam, to be able to be a part of something like that. We are been able to form some special relationships within the industry because we do service so many clients nationwide that it's afforded us the opportunity to be able to travel and go to some things that we would probably never have been able to attend. I can say personally, for somebody who loves design and is super passionate about it, and like I said, kind of regained that passion after when I went back into the industry. I never had the talent to do some of the things that I see our clients doing. It just was not a talent that I had. And so I admire when I see that kind of talent on display. And I get a little geeked up being able to be around it. I personally get a little starstruck when I'm around some of it, because I'm like, oh my gosh, how did this even come into your brain to create it?
Yeah.
It's amazing to me. It's really fun. So yeah, I do get starstruck myself every once in a while and feel like I'm in the presence of royalty when I'm in the presence of certain designers that I have mad respect for. And I'm sure. So for sure.
I mean, because I don't even care if they're working with celebrities or not. It's just a matter of some of these homes are just so out of the world amazing, and just having the latest, greatest, newest, like things you don't even know exist, like whether it's being a smart home or just the textures. And I know there was one interview or guest I interviewed, and they were talking about these really expensive beds and so on. Just like, you're just like mind blown by the different things, textures and art and just all of it. So I was just curious if there's been a moment where you were just like, okay, so I got to touch $100,000 rug or something, like something just you just never know. But that's what I'm like, it's not, because I remember, I'm going to date myself here, but growing up watching Robin Leach and just being like, or even MTV Cribs and all of those different shows. So like now getting more, because my show was mainly just with entertainment, and now it's kind of shifting, which is funny because I've been going to market since I was 15 with my mom. So it's like now it's like shifting where I'm like, I guess I'm back in the design world again. But I'm loving it because it's like, this is like getting to live through that through the designer's eyes, like how they actually came about these beautiful homes that the celebrities are showing off. But it's usually they're not the ones that came up with the creations. It's the designers that did. And of course, they can't ever speak about who they worked with because the NDAs, but they can still talk about the different textures and products or different vendors they worked with and so on. So I was just curious if because you get to work with everybody and of all levels. Like if there's been one of those, just one moment you were just like,
there was, I will say there was one moment with one designer where like it took my breath away. I couldn't even comprehend granted it took a lot of money. So let's just be real.
Look, money's not an object in this world for most of the people once they get to this level. Yeah. So
it took a lot of money to be able to create what was created, but you could have thrown that amount of money at it and it, and somebody else could have done something totally different with it, So for me, it was just looking and going, she took that much money and created this, and hearing the story and like the background of all the thought and the influences and what went into her decisions. Like I said, it was a moment where I got a little starstruck. I was seeing things that I would never have had the opportunity to see that, in my day-to-day life. That's just not, I'm not walking through those type of homes very often. So
no, before the pandemic, I did a lot of furniture modeling and acting and so on. And so a lot of times we would film in these huge $1 million homes because they would need multiple different places to represent this house, or, we're pretending that we live here and so on. And of course I fit that part. So I would just be like in awe sometimes because there was a few of these homes had been in our in AD before. So I had seen them in magazines and remembered seeing them. And so just being in them again, and you're just like, wow, like I wondered what made them decide on this or why were they doing that. And there was like one house we went into for, I was doing an ad for Moen Showers, funny enough. Okay. And the house was almost exactly like mine, but maybe about 20,000 more feet. So
same.
It's like almost the same. Just,
totally
same ideas. Well, maybe not 20,000, maybe more like 2,000. I'm dyslexic, so I add in an extra zero for dramatics. But so my husband and I was like taking pictures of different things because like, ooh, we can get the cheap version or the small scale down version of everything that they had. And I was like, ooh, this would work best for our windows and it's just like, it was, I would have never had access to that otherwise, so that's why I'm like, again, like just now I think a lot of those shows, they need to redo it with the designers behind it so we can find out like how did you go about reupholstering those couch? What made you decide on this? How do you match to platinum records? Like how do you decide what is soundproof and looks good at the same time when you're doing these inner studios or homes with basketball? I don't know, like such lavish stuff. Like, how do you coordinate it all when there's no budget?
This huge surge in TV shows around the process of design, where like you said, like we loved watching the MC Cribs or whatever, where you were seeing it when it was done. You weren't seeing the process and now I feel like everybody wants to watch the process,
True.
And I think that's what's been so much fun about seeing too, following on some of, my stars in my mind, my design stars. I love following their Instagram accounts as they're making decisions, as what they're doing on their stories, and just following along.
Or now like TikToks they're doing.
Yes, the TikTok.
Ew, it's like fun. Yeah.
Yes, all this stuff. And I mean, I just, to me, I'm, like I said, I kind of geek out about all that stuff. So
me too. It's interesting to see. And also because I think when certain TV shows started coming out where it was like a complete channel devoted to how the different designs came about, there was this misconception that it would be that quick, or you could do, like, I guess we should have known if people had $2 million budgets by being a gamer or something, like they had really random careers and huge budgets. We should have known there was a little bit movie magic to it, but at the same time, it's nice to see that they're getting their shine that they deserve, because they're the real people behind it. Because like even now when you see celebrities coming out with skincare lines or makeup lines, you're like, you don't even do your own hair or makeup. Like, I want to know what your stylist is using. Like,
your stylist.
Yeah, like give that information up. What is she really using? Not the stuff that she's getting through the mail for free, but what is she really using every day on your hair to maintain it or to give it that glow and so on. So
I know it's funny because knowing too, I mean, like you talked about, like being so deep into the financials and because we're always pulling for our client. Our clients would say, I need a profitability report for this, or I need a report for this client, or whatever, or they need their budget reports or whatever. So our team is pulling these reports, and it's like, this is the reality. Like, this is
not the sexy part.
This is not the sexy part. Like, this is the reality of this. But again, like, I think if you love design and you want to follow design, like, to me, that's more interesting. Is like you just said, what did this really take to do this? What did this sofa really cost? What did it really take to put all those pieces together? And so I hope that's the only reason why I don't like the reality TV shows, when it's, let me show you how we did an entire house in 48 hours. I'm like, no, you did not do an entire house in 48 hours. Well, it was like tons of planning.
Right. And budgeting and figuring out and getting everything hired, teams together. And
if I was still designing, that would just so frustrate me.
I know one of the designers I spoke with, that he was saying, you have three choices. I can either do it fast and cheap, or good and fat, or like, I can't remember. He gave three choices, but you can only do two of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or have you seen that hilarious Instagram meme that's been going around with like the beautiful horse painting, and then the other one is like this horrific stick drawing of a horse, and it said something like, "This is fast and cheap." It was like, something about the client wants to know if I can get it for them cheaper. And then it's like that drawing comes in. I'm like, this horse.
We can do it, but it's going to cost you.
Yeah, you're not going to like it.
I've seen that. There's some like version of it where they more or less are saying, of course we can find something within your budget, but it's going to be within your budget. So as far as like with everything through the pandemic and even now with things kind of coming more hybrid and so on, and I think there was so many issues that as much as interior design kind of picked up because so many people were stuck home, there was also like furniture back low and people being furloughed and different things going on. But there were some good things where people just really learned how to work virtually even more so. And I was wondering from your side, moving forward, what do you see future-wise going with the furniture or interior design industry?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying this just as like a plug for the dev agency. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I do think outsourcing is something that has been used in so many other industries, and it just was not, I don't think, as widely used in the interior design industry. I think that interior designers really did believe they had to wear all those hats, and they had to be an expert at everything. And I think designers are realizing there is so much work out there right now. I mean, so many of our designers are on wait lists. There is not a lack of work out there. And so spending your time really doing what you're best at and outsourcing the rest. And I've noticed just in the, whatever 5 years that we've been working on this in the year before planning it, I have noticed this huge surge in other companies that are supporting the interior design industry. And I love that. I mean, I think that's fantastic. There are other bookkeepers that are focusing, so just honing in on the interior design industry, because bookkeeping for the interior design industry is not like bookkeeping for a doctor's office or a lawyer or another kind of entrepreneur. You've got millions and millions and millions of dollars running in and out of often a home office. So
and so many
I mean, the bookkeeping has to be done in a very specific way in this industry. So just seeing more people pop up that want to support that, seeing the number of publicists out there that are just for the interior design industry. That's been fun for me to get to know some of them, especially over this last year when we were all locked down. We were able to have conversations about, okay, what are you doing? What are we doing? And so getting to know them, the number of coaches out there now for the interior design industry, I just feel like there are resources there's new software that has never been, available, I don't think widely until recently, that really helps for their workflow. And I just think there's a lot more attention especially in the last year, on this as an industry that is truly accessible to more than just the top echelon of wage earners. I mean, it's now available to anybody, because there are designers that are willing to do just a 1 hour consultation call. There's e-designers. There's so many different options now that I think more and more it's becoming a part of general, the general.
It'll be like Massage Envy almost, where everyone can get
Yeah, exactly. So I do think it's been something that's become so much more mainstream that the support around it has. So that's where I see this industry going. Is I see more of just an infrastructure being put up to support the creatives. I really see that as something that we can all be excited about.
No, that's great, because even I'm thinking for other people that work in the interior design industry, because whether it's people who are florists or other tradesmen that work within that same, they still probably would need these outsources because they're still the same creative mind type people. But there's just so many different elements within the interior design world as well. So
exactly. One thing that's recently come up is legal. So we just we're actually this week we're meeting with a lawyer that we've been working with quite a bit, because we're obviously not going to take legal on in-house. That would be really, really a bad idea.
Expensive, yeah.
But we've been talking,
maybe a paralegal. No, I'm kidding.
But we've been talking to a lawyer about okay, this industry needs some very specific things to support it legally. And I feel like beforehand it's just been, well, get your templated contract, or I can't even tell you how many clients come to us and they don't even have a contract. And I think that's, again, another side where the infrastructure is starting to build up more, to really understand that, it's not a one size fits all. There's not a one size contract that's going to fit everybody. So, designers need access to lawyers.
True. Very true. Very true, especially if they're signing a lot of NDAs and, and next thing you know, their work is being photographed as if it's someone else's, or like they weren't involved at all. And you're like, wait, you didn't pay me enough for that.
I mean, rights, everything. I mean, that's all a designer has when they leave the job site, is they have the photographs that are testament to the work that they did. And so if they end up in a job and they can't go in and photograph it because something went skewy with the client, or the client just decides, I'm tired, I don't want anybody in my house, and that can seriously affect a designer from being able to get that next job. So laying that out up front, super important.
No, very good point. Thanks for sharing that. Now, for those out there who are interested in possibly reaching out to the Dove agency, what would be the best way for them to go about reaching out? Or you said you meet every budget, so I won't put any stipulations like what they need to do first, but
I do.
other than maybe Google so they know exactly what they're interested in.
Yes. I would say,
Check out the website.
yeah, I mean, on the go to our website, and on our website it's thedoveagency.com. We've got all of our services outlined, and they can, we don't, again, everything we do is hourly, so there's no pricing on there. It's not like you can go look at what is social media management, because we got some clients that have a library full of images. Okay, great, we can post 5 days a week and do some really fun things with their social. We've got other clients, like I said, that are just starting their firms. They don't have all those images, so we've got to come up with a social media strategy that is going to maybe be 2 images a week and supplement with some other things. Totally different budget, totally different strategy. But by doing it hourly, we're able to give them, we give all of our clients a budget prior to working with us. So after we've had those initial assessments, then we give them their budget so that they know what they can expect. So it's not an open-ended. Our hope is that there's no big surprises, but
the transparency is nice because that they know what they're paying for at the same time without any questions of because I think sometimes people confuse publicists with agents as well.
Yes.
And so they're like, oh, they're supposed to get me jobs. And not thinking that the publicity could lead to that, but
right.
Yeah, because I've had people reach out to me and say, well, I've been with this publicist for da 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 da, and I still haven't gotten any jobs. I'm like, did you Google what the job description is? Because I think you have the terms confused, or maybe you mean manager is what you need, not a publicist.
Well, that's why we put publicist we put our publicist and our brand development side of our marketing team together. Every client meets with both the publicist and with both our managing director of public relations and our managing director of brand development in that first meeting, because there's no way that we're going to throw, a designer into the deep end with our publicist if we don't feel that the brand development has been fully checked out and that the brand is developed to where they want it to be, so that then whatever's being represented out there is actually the brand that designer wants. I think that there's nothing worse than putting something out there and then the designer goes, well, why was I represented like that? Maybe because
I don't do California Modern.
Yeah.
I only do Ship Up. How dare you? No, I'm kidding.
Your website are all saying something different.
Yeah. Right. So very much so. Well, thanks again, Beth, for being my guest today. And for all those viewers out there who are interested, make sure you check out thedoveagency.com as well as their Instagram pages and social media pages, as mentioned. And thanks again for being my guest. I really appreciate it. And you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and make sure you check out CamilleCower.com for more information.